What's up, enthusiasts? Jangula here, and today I'm excited to bring you the first full game in the Blaster Tag Association 5v5 Nerf rule set. This is a rule set we've been working on for a few years now and finally got it to a point where we wanted to test it. So this is from our first test day, and we had 4 teams come out. That's groups of people that formed a team, got colors, shirts coordinated, names, all of that, just so they could come out and play and test this rule set, and that to me was just absolutely awesome. So in the blue and white on the left, you've got the scruffy looking Nerf herders, and in the green, black, and purple on the right, you have got the Silicon Valley Serpents. This game is taking place on a 150-foot long by 100-foot wide field. There are 20 pieces of 4-foot high by 5-foot wide cover that looks like it's see-through in the video, but there is a mesh net on it that stops the vast majority of darts. Unfortunately, there was a lot of wind this test day, and we had to swap out the opaque covers for this kind of mesh that we found that stopped the darts, but you could see through it, so changed the gameplay slightly. Now, the timeout or tag out rules are if you're tagged anywhere on your blaster, yourself, your gear, you are out, walk back to your spawn or run back to your spawn and take a 30-second respawn timer. Once you're finished with that 30 seconds, you don't have to spawn in from that point. You can actually spawn in anywhere on your side of the field from a perimeter. So obviously you can't spawn inside of the field. You walk to a point and you can spawn in from there after your timer is expired. Now, since this is King of the Hill, you'll see on the top of the screen the timers going. There are 3 timers in a triangle formation on the field that the teams will be fighting over. And whoever has the most time at the end of the 10 minutes among all of those timers will be the winning team. So we chose this because it's easier to kind of have that ebb and flow, and it's more interesting to watch, we felt, than capture the flag, which can result in a lot of stalemates and just kind of people sitting behind cover waiting for that one tag to kind of open something up, and it just didn't feel as fun or active in ways. So teams also have access to a sub that they can sub in whenever someone is tagged out. This allows teams to maybe have slightly different loadouts that they want to switch in depending on situations, or keeping the team fresh if someone gets tired more easily. You know, it just gives the team options, which we thought was a good way to go. Beyond that, something that is very important to mention is to limit the potential of a best blaster or best setup being found. We decided to limit the number of darts per team. This prevented it from just becoming all rapid strikes that are crazy heavily overhauled, or all hurricanes that are, you know, overhauled, just spamming darts and rounds over and over for 10 minutes straight. We wanted there to be some kind of decision-making process in the way things were set up or organized for each team that allowed teams flexibility. So part of this test day was choosing that dart limit. We started at 500 darts per team to be distributed however you please throughout that team. We quickly decided or realized that 500 was just too many, as we had one team come in with all flywheelers and just dominate and not run out of darts until over halfway through the match, at which point they just completely dominated the game, and it made it very apparent to us that it was too high. So as the day went on, we dropped it to about 300, which is kind of that sweet spot we're finding so far. This is all subject to change, as these are test days and we have more of them coming up in the future, but I thought it'd be fun to share with you kind of the way things have progressed throughout this. As well, on that line of what's changed and how things have progressed, in the first game of the day where we had those flywheelers dominate, they were actually spawn camping the first team because the only way you could enter for the first game was from that spawn point. So it quickly became a game of who could win the first engagement, and then you just lock in the other team. So we added that rule of you could spawn in from anywhere on the perimeter, and that really actually helped open things up. it caused a couple issues that we have to tinker with, such as, you know, how you enter the field and, you know, when exactly you live. Because if you can enter from halfway in the field, you'll see right there in the middle, after that slide from Sean to get the timer, which is absolutely awesome to see, you've got BFU right near the middle point behind that barrier. Since it's anywhere you can spawn in from the up to the halfway point on the field, someone could walk in right next to him and just instantly tag him. And we had corner cases where things like that happened. It was kind of a what happened first, and there were some rules tinkering that needed to be done. So what's likely going to happen moving forward is instead of up to the halfway point, it's anywhere on your third of the field you can spawn in. And we think that will help with those potential corner case issues. We also, I think, are going to be changing from a 30-second respawn to a 15-second. And you see on the left-hand side of your screen, Arjang running in and getting just a few seconds on that timer. He managed to sneak his way through the other team and get that just a little bit of time that, honestly, in some of these games was crucial. Some of these games on this test day were down to just seconds, which was really entertaining to watch. And this was one of the closer matches. So you're going to see right there on the left side of the screen, one of the things that we implemented as well is, since you're moving anywhere from your spawn and spawning in, there were these issues where someone might think you were in, but you were actually out and you hadn't come in yet. So we're adding things like your blaster must be above your head, pointed in the air to denote you are not spawned in yet, and you can't shoot anybody until both feet have been planted inside the play area. It's those kinds of things that come from these test days that are hugely important to have. Because if we just had, you know, a first-off tournament or something like that, and we found all these issues, it would really sour the experience for a lot of people, I think. And this way we got to say, hey, come test these rules. Come break the rules for us, because we need to see what can be broken, what can be exploited and used to gain unfair advantages, and we learned a lot. I learned a lot from this game. And this entire day, actually. So people got to test different blasters as well that they might not normally try in these kinds of games had it been an actual, you know, tournament setting. So you'll see BFU running around with a hailfire, which, I mean, you don't see many people running around with hailfires anymore, and that to me was just really cool to see. They thought, hey, let's put a bunch of mags on one person and he can just lay down suppressive fire and keep heads down. And it was an interesting idea. Now, they said they probably wouldn't move forward with it in the future just because it's a bulky blaster and it's not the most fun thing to use in this setting, but they tried it, and it was worth trying because that's knowledge they have for the future, and we have seeing, you know, something to see moving forward, how those things work. Most teams as well have started to go with a split of springers and flywheelers to kind of mitigate the number of darts used, as the flywheelers can dump that heavy spam down, and the springers will be more, you know, maybe in the backfield defending a point that most of the pressure on the field isn't at. You see BFU making a run for the point as well, getting it and staying alive much longer than, honestly, anyone thought he would. Now, he jumps over the timer in the middle, which is a penalty, so he does have to take an additional 15 seconds, I believe, to his respawn timer, but he took it. He got a little overexcited and gave us that nice jump and roll. You see Scott, I believe, covering the point behind that piece of cover, hoping to get the last minute of time for the Nerf herders. And he's got backup from Sinclair and Aton as well. And again, there is that haven't respawned in, but still getting shot and being a distraction. That is that thing we will hope to alleviate with rules changes going forward. It's also important to know that you can drop mags in the field. You must carry all of the equipment with you, though. You can't drop a blaster and leave it. You can't, you know, throw equipment, but you can shag any darts and use them while you are still alive. Now we're wrapping up here, and there is certainly more to this, and I will post a link in the info to the rule set as they are being edited and changed, and that way you guys can see what is being changed, what's being added or removed. And if you want to test these things, please do. I would love to hear your guys' opinions, your thoughts, and your impressions of this rule set and the way it changes going forward. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching. This was an absolute blast to host, a blast to watch and run, and I'm looking forward so much in the future to seeing the progression of this rule set and this hobby in this community, and hopefully it'll spread and we'll see more of these style of games all across the country and the world. With that said, thank you all so much for watching. Have fun flinging foam, and I'll see you next time.